Hey guys, Never Stop Dodging here today, and we are going to be taking a look at the units I think that are in the top 10 like best units in the game for Dragon Ball Legends at the moment. We're gonna mention some honorable mentions, and first thing I thought I should mention is that we are going to be taking a look at all of these units at 10 stars minimum. I feel like that's good because Ultras tend to get to a position where they're at 10 stars after a few copies, and Legends Limited at 10 stars are pretty comparable to them. So at first we'll start with honorable mentions. Now first of all, I'll mention our first honorable mention. These aren't really in any order of like ranked 11 to 15 or anything. These are just units I think could be in the top 10 alongside like a few changes if like you had them in their best setup against like some of the top 10, but I feel like they're just a bit short from being a top 10. So first we're gonna say is the Power Awakening Piccolo. He is honestly pretty darn good. I do like the amount of damage he does. Everything he does is like pretty crazy. Like he is an all-rounded beast, doing a ton of damage, annoying your opponents. His cover changes, annoying, destroying your opponent's hands. He can restore Vanish on his main ability, gets a very powerful ultimate. Like his ultimate can actually be pretty devastating if you catch your opponents off guard with it. His green card is fantastic as it gives him ki, gives him more damage inflicted. I believe it gives him some health as well, which is always nice. And overall, a fantastic blast damage dealer who is pretty up there in the meta at the moment. So he is a fantastic honorable mention if you ask me. Next, we are going to mention the LF Tag Android 17 and 18. Now, you do not see these two very often in the meta, but they are actually pretty good for this meta at the moment. Like with there being a very powerful blue unit in this meta and quite a lot of yellow units, you tend to see these two actually doing pretty well against them, and being able to just have that no endurance, like they just nullify endurance, is fantastic in this meta because there are so many endurance units that we will talk about later that just run PvP at the moment, and they are actually fantastic to counter them. Of course, they still do insane damage outside of the featured boost and can just keep on doing what they've always done, just be a nuisance. If you get the green card off with either of them, especially I think actually just both of them in general, if you get any of their green cards off and you get a combo going afterwards, you are going to be in a fantastic position where you are just tearing through your entire opponent's team. And then of course, if you hit them with the blue card, they're getting melted away. It is ridiculous how powerful they are, and it is ridiculous that they're not even in the top 10 at the moment. So that's what I'd say for my second honorable mention. Next I'm gonna say is Perfect Cell. Perfect Cell I feel like kind of got outplaced by the Piccolo at the moment, and he is still a great purple unit at the moment. Like with Hybrid Saiyans running rampant throughout this meta, he is fantastic for it. With there being a lot of revival units and a lot of matches, you tend to see him do pretty well in general, just being able to get that revival disruption, make it so that they have 4 Dragon Balls reduced, they lose their ki, that sort of stuff. I think especially if it's like a hybrid Saiyan, so he is not too bad. Of course, you want him to have his gorge filled, you want to have that unique platinum with that final red slot equipped to him. You want him to just be in one of the best positions he could be so that he can deal as much damage as possible, because with the cardinal speed and everything, and when his gorge is filled, he is monster with the amount of damage he could do. So he is definitely close to being a top 10 unit. Next, this one I feel like he's close to being top 10. I wouldn't put him anywhere near being as close as these three, but Super Saiyan 3 Dragon Fist Goku is honestly not in the worst position. With the amount of cover change units there are at the moment, he actually performs pretty nicely, with there being a very strong blue unit in the meta that you see 99% of the time. Having a green unit that can just shut him down is good, but I feel like there are a few instances where he needs that defensive capability to be able to withstand some attacks from other units. But he is still crazy. If you get the gourd filled up, he has card draw speed, which helps you lead to that gourd being filled up. He will be a pretty monstrous unit. Like, you could catch people off guard with very powerful strike damage. blue cards, if the gorge is filled, you're locking them in, maybe one-shotting a unit that you really wanted to just get rid of. He can just combo for a very long time, and if you use the green card, you get an extra strike, you get a more key. If you use the ultimate, especially with the gorge field, you reduce your enemy's key vanish gorge, and you regain your vanish gorge if you've used it up, which is very, very good, because there are instances where if you play well and you get to a position where your opponent, he doesn't have a rush, he doesn't have a main ability, anything they do, you pop the main, you've won essentially, because his ultimate is ridiculously powerful. Still one of the better ultimates in the game, if you ask me. So that's Dragon Fist Goku. Next, and this will be the final honorable mention, is the Zenkai Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. I honestly think he does pretty well at the moment. His strike damage is fantastic, his blast damage is actually pretty good, his green card ridiculous, because I believe you draw a strike from it and you regain health, and of course his strike being his best asset in terms of the amount of damage he could deal out of strike and blast is pretty good to get, if you ask me. And overall he could just hit super hard. Then you have the blue card that does a nice amount of damage, his main ability drawing that super annoying ultimate where it locks your opponent in. Like, if you are up against a blue unit that doesn't have endurance, or they can't make any swaps or anything, you've got card draw speed ×2 thanks to the main ability, so you're going to be drawing a ton of cards. You might even get into a position where you can just take out a blue unit without even needing to use your ultimate, because he will just be popping off with the amount of damage he deals. And of course, if you do get a blue unit locked in with the ultimate, that blue unit is gone. Say goodbye to them, as long as they're not type neutral or anything. And even in some instances when they are type neutral, you still just get rid of them, because that's how powerful the ultimate is. So he is a very good unit. I would have liked him to have some sort of cover change, but we can't ask for too much. And of course, we all know that without the cover changes, it's not too big of a deal because of how much damage he does deal. So that's all the honorable mentions for now. Let's move on to our top 10. First, in our 10th position is MUI Goku. I still feel like he has a very good grasp on the meta at the moment. He can be quite a nuisance, in fact, because that ability to stall with your gorge, making it so that your opponents don't want to attack, the ability to get your vanish back while your gorge is still full, so that your opponent just can't do anything. Like, they'll try and use tap attacks, quick dashes, quick attacks, all to try and get your gorge like reduced, and knowing that you can kind of outplay them, attack when they least expect it, get a combo going. His strike damage is fantastic. His blue card does a ton of damage and is beneficial for the team because it reduces their sub count. Green card is the same because it allows your gorge to be filled more, just helps you more in general. I believe it gains key and might get a strike as well. I actually haven't used him in like a week or so, and I honestly can't remember, but I do remember him maybe drawing a strike. If not, it's still a crazy green card that helps you to continue your combo anyway, because he has card draw speed, which is always fantastic. And then with the main ability, he gets the ability to nullify cover chain, so he can just attack non-stop. He can then hit someone with the ultimate, which is a very, very powerful ultimate. Like, he has like the availability of a lot of very powerful equips, some that actually make it so that his ultimate damage can be increased by like over 15% or so. I believe there are a few equips that will help him in that instance, which makes it insane for him. So he is definitely a very good unit at the moment in this meta. Next, I will say, actually, let's speak about that. I feel like red units at the moment, unless there are like a few very meta red units at the moment, are in a very hurtful position because of the most powerful unit in the game. But he is still quite decent enough just to make it into the top 10. So let's move on to our next one, which will be the Super Saiyan, the LF Super Saiyan Future Trunks. Now, this guy is in a very, very good position. I honestly think that he is the best green unit in the game at the moment. First of all, being a Hybrid Saiyan is ridiculous at the moment, because Hybrid Saiyans kind of just run the meta at the moment. You see them 8 out of 10 matches, which is very, very prevalent, very like prominent in the meta at the moment. So he is very good. And of course, on top of all those, I haven't even spoken about his kit. His strike damage is fantastic. His ability to use a strike and then get like a strike or blast after that, then another one after that as well, is insane. If he comes into the battlefield, he gains ki, so he will get like a guaranteed combo of 3 cards minimum, and all of it's gonna do a very nice amount of damage. His blue card inflicts a very nice amount of damage. His green card is ridiculous because it allows him to get an ultimate. It heals, it gives you ki, and of course that first time use getting that ultimate is ridiculous because his ultimate is very powerful. It would do a lot of damage to most units it hits, and that's just from using your strike, blast, blue or green. Now with the main ability, he'll go type neutral. He then draws his main ability ultimate, which will do even more than the green card ultimate because you are type neutral now. Any unit in the game will just get absolutely torn apart, and he has a blast cover change as well. So honestly, a very, very good unit in my opinion. I feel like he could have maybe made it a bit higher, but there are a few other units that I think are just slightly better than him in this case. So next unit we're gonna take a look is at Revival Gohan. Now I was having a tough time deciding between these two because I feel like at some instances I thought he could potentially be better than the Revival Gohan. Like I think from step 6 to 9, these can all be placed in a different position. Like he could easily be placed at 6, he could be placed at 6 as well. I feel like these are very, they're very close to being like above each other in terms of how good they are. But I feel like at the moment I'm gonna place Trunks 9th and Revival Gohan at 8th, because Revival Gohan, of course, being a revival unit is insane at the moment because first of all, you don't really see the only unit in the game that nullifies Revival, Beerus, that much because you have another blue in town who has just taken over the blue spot needed. So he doesn't have to worry about his revival being nullified at all. And then of course his strike damage pre-transformed is crazy, blast damage is good. Blue unit and green unit are both fantastic for the team because blue unit does a decent amount of damage and it'll reduce your teammates sub count. Green unit just being beneficial for him and reducing his sub count when he swaps to standby, which makes it pretty good. And of course the main ability, healing your teammates and everything, is fantastic. Then after he transforms, he is just a different beast. His strike damage is off the charts, blast damage is fantastic. His blue card, especially if you use the main, reduce your whole hand so that you just have a blue, will do so much damage. It's actually ridiculous how good he is in today's meta, considering he's from the 3rd anniversary, so he is well over a year old. He does fantastically. And of course the green card as well, being an area green card, that'll make it so that he can combo easily, catch your opponent off guard. And if you have a blue card with that, just say goodbye to most units in the game because it is ridiculous how much power he can like do at the moment. It is ridiculous. Like I remember half a year ago he wasn't even mentioned in the top 10, so this just shows how crazy it is for hybrid Saiyans at the moment in this meta. Okay, next we're gonna take a look at our first Ultra, which is Ultra Super Video. Still a fantastic unit today, kind of moved up in the ranks thanks to the meta heavily changing from being LF cooler dominant who just countered any Super Saiyan, especially any yellow Super Saiyan in the game. So thanks to that, he's got some more value. Of course, him being an endurance unit is insane. His strike damage, blast damage is insane. The fact that he can just get insane amount of card draw speed from using cards is fantastic. His green card being one of his best assets that makes him type neutral, gives him a blast so he can combo, is insane. He's got a gorge that makes it so that if you counter your opponent's tap attack or blast arts, you would then make it so that your opponents can't cover change your attacks for a certain amount of time, which is ridiculous. Because let's say you've got a green card off after using your gorge, you then can do type neutral damage against every unit, type advantage unit against purples and just can combo for as long as you want, pretty much. As long as you are smart with it, you can get a very good combo going and do a lot of damage to your opponents. Then his blue card is fantastic, does a lot of damage, fills your hand filled with cards once again. Like, it is very good. And then there's the main ability where it restores your Vanishing Gourd, which is very, very useful. And then it gives you the very powerful ultimate that can just annihilate opponents, especially if one battle member is defeated. It makes it so that you will go type neutral upon using that ultimate, which will just tear through most units in the game. Like, it is actually ridiculous how powerful his ultimate damage can be. So that's ultra super video. Next we're moving to our 6th position, which I have to say is at the moment the best yellow unit in the game, LF Future Gohan. Now this dude is actually used so much in the meta at the moment. It's actually ridiculous. He is definitely a very good unit to choose at the moment. His unique platinum equipment gives him a ton of value. Like, with him being the best yellow unit for the meta at the moment, him being a hybrid Saiyan who just has synergies with all the other hybrid Saiyans you see that are in meta at the moment, is insane how good this dude is. The support capabilities, the cover change, which even if you don't get the cover change on Blast, where he cover changes Blast Arts, it will destroy your opponent's 2 of your opponent's cards, which is very annoying because it just disrupts combos. And that's not even the top of it. His strike is good because let's say you use your Vanishing Gourd, you start restoring your Vanishing Gourd each strike, and the strike damage is very good. His Blast Arts, pretty nice. His blue card does a lot of damage. His green, very beneficial, giving you ki as well. A lot of very good traits with it. Of course, then he has the main ability where his ultimate does hit stupidly hard. Like, I feel like now that he's got the unique platinum equipment where you can increase ultimate damage with it, he has access to another equipment that can increase ultimate damage. Like, he can do so much ultimate damage. It's actually ridiculous. I feel like there's been a lot of instances where I've double buffed him with ultimate damage increases from equips, and it has one shot some of the top units in the game, which is very good. And as I said, he has endurance, or I don't even know whether I said he has endurance or not, but he has endurance, which makes him annoying because there's a lot of times where your opponent wants to rush, but because they know he's there, they can't do anything, and that just adds to his value. So that's my 6 to 10 units at the moment. I feel like it's a pretty good formation. As I said, I feel like these can maybe swap. I feel like Gohan has to be above Super Video. I feel like he has more value than him at the moment, and other than that, these units can maybe be bought 6th, 7th maybe. But other than that, I feel like this is happy for me. In my opinion, this is the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th position at the moment. So moving on to our top 5. First one I'm gonna say in 5th position is Ultra Super Gogeta. Ultra Super Gogeta is very good still. Like, it's actually insane. He is going to be, after Legends Fest come, he will be a year old, and he has not been anywhere below like top 7 material in the game since release. It is insane how good he is. Of course, his strike damage is off the charts. His blast damage is fantastic. Blue card does a lot of damage and reduces your enemy's hand so that you don't have any cards in your hand anymore. Very annoying. It fills up with the gorge as well. So once the gorge is filled after using, I'm pretty sure 5 strike or blasts, or like, as long as you fill it up, you gain ki to then draw a blue card, and of course that blue card doing very annoying things for your opponent, doing a lot of damage and reducing their hand so that they don't have any cards to use, is insane. And that's just like part of it. Then he has the green card that makes it so that he doesn't have to worry about cover change, make it so that you can just attack, deal that insane amount of damage to your opponent. You then have a strike cover change, which makes it so that he can just annoy your opponent even more. He then makes it so that if one of your battle members is defeated, he once he enters the battlefield, he'll make it so that he goes type neutral, lock in your opponent as well, so that you don't have to worry about nothing anymore. Let's say you do that, you use a green card and your gorge has been filled. You are in a fantastic position where if you catch your opponent off guard, you're most likely taking out that opponent, especially if that opponent doesn't have endurance or revival, because you could potentially just take him out with rush, or even if you use your main ability where you draw the very powerful ultimate arts that can shred through your opponents, like literally shred through them, is fantastic. I feel like that is a crazy instance. And then once all that has been said, if he's the last man standing, he then draws an ultimate, so he has the ability to use 2 ultimates similar to the LF Future Trunks, which is insane because his ultimate is very, very powerful. So he can use ultimate arts twice, can go type neutral, can nullify, cover change. It's just so much value from this dude that is actually insane. He is fantastic, especially in this meta where it's kind of movie slash hybrid Saiyans dominated, so he is in a very good position. Next, in 4th position now, some of you will probably disagree with me in this case, but I am going to put LF Final Form Cooler in this position. He has fallen off quite a bit for being in the #1 spot before we got the superhero collab, because he was dominating the game. He still does very well, but thanks to a very powerful blue unit taking over, he has been reduced a couple positions in my opinion, and that's why I put him in 4th place. He still can do insane strike damage. That locking ability with the first strike is insane, making it so that you can just do a ton of damage to your opponent straight away. If they have a Super Saiyan on their team, which they are very, very like used in this meta at the moment. As I said, you see Super Gogeta, LF Future, Super Saiyan Gohan, Ultra Super Vegito, Revival Gohan before transformation, this Future Super Saiyan Trunks. There are still a very high amount of Super Saiyans used in this meta, which makes him still very valuable because he can go type neutral, make it so that you can just tear through your opponents at type neutral, don't have to worry about anything. His strike is his best asset, as I said. It locks in, does a ton of damage. The blast damage is pretty decent as well. His blue card can do a lot as well, just tearing through your opponent's team. The green card is very beneficial. I believe it gives you ki and gives you a strike, so you can just continue dominating your opponents. And then there's his cover change he has against strikes. There's his main ability that gives him the ability to nullify cover change. He then gets the ultimate art, and his ultimate hits stupidly well. Like, he is very, very good. And this guy just, as I said, counters Super Saiyans fantastically. So if you come across any Super Saiyans and you're using your Final Form Cooler, just expect your enemies to quiver in fear, basically, because if you catch them in a combo, they are in a terrible position, if you ask me. So that's where LF Final Form Cooler lies, in my opinion. Next, I feel like this is where some people might even disagree about this, but you have to say Pan is ridiculous. She does so much. Probably the most annoying unit to go up against, maybe ever, because she, first of all, her support capabilities are through the roof. The amount she does for her teammates is insane. The amount of sub count reduction there is, the amount of increasing your opponent's sub count is insane. The strike damage is actually really good from her. The blast is pretty noticeable as well. The blue card is really good. It can do like so much to even blue units, which when she's at type disadvantage against blue, you don't want her to do damage to blue, but she still does. She then has that green card, which reduces your teammate sub count. I'm pretty sure it reduces your enemy's ki as well, which is stupid as how. Then she has a strike cover change just to add on top of that, which you can combo into a blue. And then there comes the attacks from your opponents. Let's say she's getting comboed by your enemy. She would then reduce your teammates sub count so that they can come in faster, so she doesn't have to worry about getting too much damage down to her. She reduces your enemy's sub count, not sub count, your enemy's ki upon getting hit. I believe it's 6 times, and I don't know whether it resets upon switch, but I'm pretty sure it's still enough for your enemy to be like, okay, I can't do as much damage as I want to her, because she does reduce the amount of ki by an insane amount. It is so annoying going up against her. Then there's the main ability, which is probably one of the most stupid, broken main abilities in the game, and you could use it after 5 timer counts. It makes it so that you'll get a green and blue card in your hand by, I think you destroy some of your cards as well, so that you can get that green and blue straight away. That green card then you can use to reduce sub count. I believe using the main ability reduces sub count as well, so you can get your teammates in like straight away. Let's say they've just gone out, you reduce their sub count by 6 by using the main ability and the green. She goes time neutral on green on her main ability for, I believe, 60 timer counts, which is a very long amount of time, because being time neutral means that she doesn't have to worry about any unit dealing an insane amount of damage, which on top of everything else she does makes it so that she is insane. She's so insane. And then the type neutral blue card just hits different, like insane unit. I don't even know what Legends were thinking when they thought about making a kit. They just thought, let's make it so that she can just be the most annoying unit ever, be the most insane unit ever, be broken with some of the things you could do, and that's pan for you. To think non-LF, non-ultra unit would be a potential top 3, some could argue top 5 unit is ridiculous if you ask me, because it's a pan. Who thought pan out of everyone would be above LF, Final Form Quarter, Ultra Super Gogeta, all these other units she is above? And like, I would even say there's between this 3rd spot and 5th onwards, there is a noticeable gap. Like, it is insane what she's capable of doing. So that's my number 3 spot. Now moving on to number 2, Ultra Broly has to take that spot. He is still very, very good. I feel like with Pan and Broly especially, they have that kind of disruption built into their kits, where once Broly's gorgeous filled up, it makes it so that your opponent doesn't have their vanish anymore. They lose ki, I believe. Like, he is insane. See, I don't have Ultra Broly myself, so I just have to say this upon like going up against Broly myself. He can do a lot of damage. Like, his strike damage is very annoying, his blast damage is annoying. He has blast armor, which adds to the nuisance. There are, if you see a trend, there's like 3 units other than Ultra Broly that have blast armor. Blast armor is very beneficial, but it's not the most broken thing if your enemy, or if you know how to go about using it. Like, it is very, very good, which is not is not what you want to go up against like 99% of the time, but sadly it is what it is. And Ultra Broly does have blast armor, so you can go through your opponent's blast armor. He can do a lot of damage with the blue. His blue is actually ridiculously powerful. Like, in some instances, if you're caught with like a unit that has like 75% health, it can just be absolutely wiped by this guy's blue card. It is insane. His green card, very, very good. Like, is very good. I feel like they should have made it so that you could combo into it, rather than it being you just use the green card, locking your opponent, and that's it. But it still is very good, because if you manage to get a combo off after getting that green card, you most likely taking out that unit. So I feel like that's very good. Then his main ability, allowing him to get that very, very powerful ultimate, is insane. He has the most annoying cover chains in the game. If you don't have cover chain nullification, this dude will pop into the match, make it so that anything you're doing is cover chains, and that's it. You have no say whatsoever. It will be against blue, it will be against a green card, I believe it's against ultimates as well, maybe awakening arts too. As I said, I don't have this unit, so I'm not too sure myself. But if those are the case where you can do ultimates and awakening arts as well, insane, because those are some of the most damaging moves in the game, and to just be able to cover change it twice as well is insane in my opinion. A very annoying unit to go up against, a very powerful unit to go up against, a very defensive unit. Like, this guy tanks like a truck. If you build him, like, you give him Zenkai buffs, you give him very defensive equips, he's taking like 4 damage each attack, even from some of the more powerful yellow units in the game and more powerful meta relevant units in the game. He is very annoying to go up against, so he is definitely worthy of being my number 2 spot. And then I'm pretty sure we've all guessed by now who is in the number 1 spot. It has to be Beast Gohan, the most ridiculous unit I think has ever been released. I feel like he is more ridiculous than when Vegeta Blue was first released, when the LF Super Saiyan 2 Family Son Kamehameha Gohan got his Zenkai Awakening. Like, ridiculous. He can just dominate matches all on his own. Like, if you start with him, let's say you start with him and straight away you've got card draw speed, I'm pretty sure ×2. You've got cover chain nullification because his gorge gets filled up straight away, and when his gorge is filled up, that's what he gets. He gets cover chain nullification and he gets 2 times card draw speed because he already had card draw speed, and then that gives him more card draw speed, so his gorge gets filled up straight away. Then he has very powerful strike arts that do a ton of damage. Like, I think he is the most powerful strike arts damage dealer in the game at the moment. He has blast armor on it, so if your opponent uses blast and you catch him off guard with let's say you catch him off guard with a mid-range strike, you got a combo going. You need like 5 cards max to be able to fill up the gorge as well. So the way to use the gorge is by using a blue card or a green card. Upon either of these instances, let's say you use a blue, your blue will be more powerful. It would use up the gorge. It would then restore his vanish by I think 70%, which is a very large amount, and it will do so much damage to your enemy. I believe there have been a lot of instances where I've used the blue card once my gorge has been filled. The opponent has had full health and then it's been reduced to 10% or below. Like, it is ridiculously powerful, and then that uses the gorge. And of course the green card as well restores your vanish. The green card in general gives you arch card in general, like I think either a strike or blast. I think it might just be a strike, but I'm not too sure whether you could get blast from it. But you draw a card, and of course if you use it with the gorge, you've got your card, you are more powerful than ever, so that card you drew will do a lot of damage, and it's just insane. Then comes the main ability where you can use the ultimate arts. I believe if the gorge is filled once you use the ultimate as well, it will... Does it reduce... See, I've been trying out different teams lately, so I haven't used Beast Gohan as much, but I believe it either gets rid of your opponent's hand, or I think that's the green actually. The green card, if your gorge is filled, it will destroy your opponent's hand so that they don't have any more cards. And then I feel like the ultimate makes it so that he might go type neutral. He does so much that it's hard to remember everything he does. I haven't used it for like 3 days now, so I can't remember that part. But there is like some parts where, I know for a fact that if you use the blue card and green card as well, if he has the gorge filled, he goes type neutral. I completely forgot that is like one of his most powerful features again. So my dude just has everything built into his kit. He then cover changes strike and blast arts so that you can just be a nuisance to your opponents. Once again, it combos into a blue, so if your gorge is filled and you get that going, you most likely take out an opponent. And then of course if your opponent rushes, he gets endurance, and he is just even more insane as before, because I believe he restores like a certain amount of health as well. So if he's one of your bench units and your opponent goes to rush and you have him at like 50% health, he'll be close to full health. He is by far the most ridiculous unit in the game. And honestly, I kind of agree with the fact that he should have been ridiculous, because we have to say it is Beast Gohan. Dragon Ball Super Superhero is the most recent movie in the Dragon Ball franchise, and the most new transformation we got alongside Orange Piccolo and, like, I guess you could say the new Cell Max. I guess that wasn't really a transformation, but it's a new form of Cell. Like, it is like top tier hype levels. You have to make this unit the newest transformation that everyone was like hyping over, the best unit in the game, and he has to be the best unit in the game for a very long time, because in Beast Gohan he had to destroy the game, and that's exactly what he's done in my opinion. So other than that, guys, that's my top 10 units. We got Beast Gohan, we got Ultra Legendary Super Saiyan Broly, we got Pan from Superhero, we got LF Final Form Cooler, Ultra Super Gogeta, LF Future Super Saiyan Gohan, Ultra Super Vegeta, Revival Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, LF Future Super Saiyan Trunks, and then MUI Goku. We got some honorable mentions as well, and honestly, I'm happy with this top 10. There'll be some of you that might agree with it and some of you that might disagree with it. So let me know in the comment section below what you think. This has been my top 10 tier list, the best 10 units in the game in Dragon Ball Legends at this moment in October 2022. So other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, obviously more than free to subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.